ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। आप सभी का स्वागत है।
We welcome all of you
भगवद गीता के इस प्रवचन में
to today's class on Srimad Bhagavad Gita.
कर रहे हैं द्वितीय अध्याय का 61वां श्लोक।
We are studying second chapter, verse 61 onwards.
यत्तो हि अपि कौन्तेय
So Bhagavan said
पुरुषस्य विपश्चिते इंद्रियाणि प्रमाथीनि हरन्ति प्रस्भं मनः। कि व्यक्ति अपनी इंद्रियों को नियंत्रण में करने का प्रयत्न करता रहता
that a
है,
person
लेकिन इंद्रियां बहुत बलवान हैं, प्रमाथीनि,
tries to control
और अपने बल से उसके मन का हरण कर लेती है।
person tries to control senses.
इसलिए उन्होंने कहा तानि सर्वाणि संयम्य युक्त आसीत मत्पर वशे ही यस्य इंद्रियाणि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता। इसलिए उन इंद्रियों को चारों तरफ से नियंत्रण में करके और मेरे पर केंद्रित होकर अपना जीवन बिताए।
So the person should
इस
be
प्रकार
intent
से
exclusively upon me
रहते
and
हैं।
therefore by control regulate his senses. And one whose senses are under control is certainly
तो
of
ये जो दो
steady
श्लोक भगवान
wisdom.
बोल रहे हैं ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है,
Now the two verses that Bhagavan will speak,
क्योंकि इन दो
they are
श्लोकों
very
में
important
वो बहुत प्रयोजनीय ज्ञान देते हैं हमको।
because in these two verses
इसलिए
Bhagavan will
वहाँ
give
उसने कहा
very
एक साधक
practical
इस
knowledge
प्रकार
which
से
are
करना है,
very
इसको
much
करना है।
important for a sadhaka.
इंद्रियाणि प्रमाथिनि हरन्ति प्रस्वहम कि मन को किस प्रकार
Because
से
he told about the mind, how the mind
उसकी
is
प्रक्रिया बताते हैं
getting snatched away
कि ये
by the
कैसे करना है,
senses.
क्योंकि
So
ये
he is
चीजें
explaining what is the
चलती
process,
चलेगी आपको देखते देखते,
how the
जिसको हमारी
senses
इंद्रियां
get
दबाती हैं
deviated.
तो पता नहीं चलता,
Actually, we don't
चलती
even
जाती हैं
realize when our senses
और फिर
get deviated.
आपका काम समाप्त। तो
Then the mind
कहना
and the intelligence, and then we are
नाश हो
finished.
जाता है, बुद्धि नाशात
And then
प्रणश्यति।
Bhagavan says
ऐसे
that the
व्यक्ति का
sadhaka
नाश
gets
होता है,
destroyed.
उसका पतन होता है,
So he is explaining here
इसके
how
बारे में
a
बता रहे हैं।
person falls
आज का जो
down,
समाज है
how
वो
he
इस
gets
चीज को
destroyed.
मानेगा नहीं
Today's society will not
कि
consider this as a fall down.
उन्नति है,
In fact, for
क्योंकि
them,
आजकल
this will be
परंपरा की
considered as
संस्कृति है
advancement
और
because the
संस्कृति
modern
जो
culture,
पाश्चात्य
especially the Western society,
काम पर ही आधारित है।
is based on kama,
अर्थ और काम जो चार पुरुषार्थ हमारे यहाँ
the
बताए हैं,
artha and
आज
kama,
का जो
wealth
आधुनिक
and
समाज
lust.
आधुनिक
So the today's modern society,
राजनीतिक सामाजिक आर्थिक
today's political, social,
वो केवल
and
काम
the
पर
financial
आधारित है।
system, it is simply based on artha and
उनको ये बात
kama,
समझ में नहीं
wealth
आती,
and
हालांकि वो
lust.
उसका
So they will not
ढूंढते हैं
understand this,
और उसकी समस्या का समाधान ढूंढते हैं, लेकिन उनको मिलेगा
although
नहीं,
they are trying very
क्योंकि
hard,
समाधान
struggling to
हर
solve their
जगह पर उनको
problems,
उपलब्ध नहीं है।
because the solution is not
वो
available
समाधान
in the
केवल
same place where the problem
वस्तुओं
lies.
में और
Because these
साधनों में
people
ढूंढते हैं,
are simply finding solutions in wealth
तो वहाँ
and
वो
other
समझते हैं
material
कि
objects.
समाधान है नहीं समस्या का।
So there is no solution lying
इसलिए
there.
ये दो श्लोक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है,
That's why
दो
these two
श्लोकों में
verses
जो
are very important.
साइकोलॉजी है वो सब आती है,
And these two verses explain the modern
सीड क्या
psychology.
है, उसका बीज क्या है,
So what is
वो
the
बताया
seed of
जाता है।
that psychology is being explained here.
तो यहाँ 62वें श्लोक में भगवान बोलते हैं, ध्यायतो विषयान पुंसः संगस्तेषुपजायते संगात् संजायते कामः कामात् क्रोधो विजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति। इंद्रिय विषयों पर ध्यान देने
Translation:
से
by dwelling on
व्यक्ति में
sense
अपने प्रति
objects,
आसक्ति
a
होती है,
person develops attachment for them.
आसक्ति से
From
तृष्णा
attachment,
उत्पन्न होती है
desire ensues,
और अतिरिक्त
and
इच्छा
from
से
unfulfilled
क्रोध उत्पन्न
desire,
होता है,
anger arises.
क्रोध से मोह उत्पन्न होता
From
है
anger comes
और मोह
delusion,
से स्मृति
and
भ्रंश
from
होती है,
delusion, memory is distorted.
स्मृति के भ्रष्ट होने से
From
विवेक नष्ट
distortion
हो
of
जाता है,
memory,
जब विवेक
discernment is
नष्ट हो जाता
lost.
है तो व्यक्ति
And when
नष्ट हो जाता है।
discernment is lost, one perishes.
तो ये पूरी इन्होंने प्रक्रिया बताई है, व्यक्ति
So
नष्ट होने का
Bhagavan
मतलब
has explained
उसके
the
लिए
whole
जो उद्देश्य
process.
जीवन मिला था
Getting destroyed, a
उससे वो
person getting
बिल्कुल
destroyed or perishing means the purpose for which he
उद्देश्य
received the human form of life,
विचल रहता है।
he falls from that.
तो इसलिए मैंने कहा कि
He fails in
इसको
achieving
समझ
that
में
goal
आएगा नहीं, क्योंकि इसको
of human life.
भ्रष्ट नहीं
That's why I
समझते
said today's society will not understand this because for
इसको
them this
उन्नति
is not
समझने का मतलब
perishing.
कितना
This is not destruction. For them, this is advancement. The more
है,
a
उसको
person has wealth, the more a person has
ड्रग्स
objects of lust,
कौन देश ज्यादातर
the
कितना
more a
आगे बढ़
person
रहा है
has sense enjoyment. Like today,
उसी का
they evaluate a country's
उसी का
happiness
रिजल्ट
index
है।
just by GDP.
डबल फिगर में पहुंच गई तो बल्ले बल्ले,
How much wealth your
तो
economy is having.
वो और उसको फिर उस अर्थ का उपयोग क्या करता है व्यक्ति,
And
वो लोग सिखाते नहीं
how
है।
a person utilizes that wealth, this knowledge is
कोई
not
बुराई नहीं
taught
है,
anywhere.
वास्तव में तो
There is nothing wrong in artha
उसने अर्थ के
or
बहुत
wealth.
सारे दोष दिखाए हैं,
In Bhagavatam, Bhagavan Sri Krishna has enumerated 15 faults of artha or
लेकिन
wealth.
अगर उसको ठीक से
But
प्रयोग किया
if it is utilized properly, everybody needs wealth. You can't do anything without money.
दुरुपयोग जब होता है
But when it is misused, then with that, due to that, a person suffers. So here he is explaining that process.
पुंस माने व्यक्ति, पुरुष हो स्त्री हो.
So here he is telling Dhyayato Vishayan Pungsa. Pungsa means a person, maybe male or female. First of all, the person dwells on sense objects. Dhyan means chintan, dwelling.
जो अंतिम के 3 अंग हैं, ध्यान, धारणा, ध्यान, समाधि.
In Ashtanga Yoga, we have dhyan, dharana, dhyan and samadhi.
वो ध्यान मतलब
so there dhyan means his mind, his intelligence
कोई भी विषय हो,
gets hooked into it.
इंद्रिय का,
Any sense object.
जिह्वा का विषय है,
It may be an object for the tongue or ear or eyes.
तो जब वो उसका ध्यान करता है,
When the person dwells on that,
फिर उसकी उसमें आसक्ति हो जाती है.
then he becomes attached.
तो यानी कि ध्यान से भी पहले एक और कदम है कि पहले आप किस चीज को
So
देखते हैं.
there is one more step before dhyana. That means what we see or what we hear. Bhagavan had told earlier, Shrotasya, Shrutasya cha.
श्रोतव्यस्य श्रुतस्य च, कि उससे आपका निर्वेद हो जाएगा.
He had explained that you will get detached from that. You will get nirved from that.
पहले जब आप किसी वस्तु को देखते हैं,
So first of all, when we see any sense object or when we hear,
आपको अच्छी लगती है.
then we like
जैसे
it.
उदाहरण के लिए आप कोई पुरुष स्त्री को देखता
For
है,
example, if a male sees a female or a female sees a male,
नहीं मानो आप किसी कार को देखते हैं,
or let's say you see a car
या किसी के पास में कोई बढ़िया टेलीफोन है,
or somebody has some nice telephone or mobile
कार बहुत,
and you say that this car is very beautiful.
तो इसमें कुछ आपको लगता नहीं है कि इसमें कुछ आसक्ति है या कुछ,
So that time we do not feel any attachment or we are dwelling on it. But it begins from there only. When we say this thing is beautiful,
लगता है
so superficially this sentence seems to be very,
एक बड़ा निष्पक्ष,
it does not seem to have any attachment. It seems very neutral type.
और हम कहते
That this is very beautiful.
हैं सुंदर लग रही हैं आप.
Like we say also, you look very beautiful.
जब आप सुंदर कहते हैं तो उसी
But
में
when you say beautiful, then at a very subtle level, your attachment is hidden in that.
क्योंकि जिसमें आपका राग रहता है वो ही आपको सुंदर लगता है, जिसमें राग नहीं रहता
Because
है
only that in which you have attachment appears beautiful to you.
तो जब
If you do not have attachment in some object, it will not appear beautiful to you. So when you say something is beautiful, then you have a subtle wave going on inside you.
कहा है
Because the object what you have designated as beautiful,
डालती है,
that object has created a samskara
और
in our
मतलब ये
chitta
होता है कि
that this thing is nice, and nice means I want to obtain it.
सुनने में अच्छी लगती है,
So what we see as beautiful or we taste nice or we hear it to be nice, then actually we have a desire to obtain that object.
एक कामना पैदा हो जाती है,
So that gives rise to desire,
और उसके कारण फिर आप उसका ध्यान करते हैं.
and because of that we dwell on that object.
अवस्था में भी ध्यान करते हैं,
In the wakeful state
अवस्था में नहीं करते,
we
स्वप्न में करते
dwell on that, and if not in the wakeful state we dwell on that in the dream state, because in the wakeful state we may be busy in our job,
हैं. आप सोचते हैं कि नहीं ये ठीक नहीं है, तो फिर आपके,
or we may think that this is maybe not right for me, but then it comes in our dream. So with this, that whole process of dwelling or concentrating on the sense object starts.
जैसे किसी ने प्रश्न पूछा था कि हमने
Like somebody had asked earlier that
चीज का चिंतन करते थे, गलत चीज का, तो भी उससे आपका फल मिलता था, और कलयुग में
that in previous yugas when you used to dwell on something we used to get result, but in Kali Yuga we do not get result. There is nothing like that. The process is same, be it any yuga. If you dwell on some sense object, then you get a samskara of
तो
that.
उस संस्कार के कारण फिर उसमें
Then because
संग
of that
संग का
samskara,
मतलब यहाँ आसक्ति से है।
you become attached. Here sanga means attachment.
तो उसमें फिर आपकी आसक्ति, और आसक्ति का मतलब वही जो राग, और उसका मतलब है कि उसको
That
हमें
so we
प्राप्त
get
करना है।
attached, and that attachment is called
उसमें
raga.
संगात
We
संजाति,
want to obtain that.
उससे फिर कामना
That's why
उत्पन्न
it
होती
is
है।
said, and then from attachment
कांति कांति
comes
से सुख।
desire.
और तो ये इस स्तर तक आता है, जो आपने पहले किसी चीज को
So
देखी,
this is the process.
उसकी
What
आपने
we
प्रशंसा
saw,
की,
and then we glorified that.
तो हम प्रशंसा वास्तव में उसी की करते हैं जो हमको अच्छी
So
लगती
actually
है,
we glorify that only what we
प्राप्त
like,
करना
or
चाहते हैं।
what we want to become, or we want to obtain. We glorify that only.
लोग किसी प्रसिद्ध व्यक्ति के फैन
Like
होते हैं,
nowadays people are fan
इसका
of
मतलब
some
वो उस
famous
तरह से
person.
बनना चाहते हैं
That
जैसे
means those
उनके,
people
जैसे
also want to become like that.
केश विन्यास है,
Their
उनकी
style of
वेशभूषा
hair
है, उसी
dressing,
तरह की
or
उनको
their
यात्रा करनी
costumes, or
चाहिए।
the way of style of their style of speaking or walking.
इवन के जो उनके वाक वैसा होना चाहते हैं,
They
उनकी
want to
ऐसी
become
इच्छा
like
है।
that. They have that sort of
तो
desire.
ये इच्छा जो है ये संस्कार रूप में आपके अंदर बैठी है, और फिर हम
So
उसको
this
प्राप्त करना चाहते
samskara
हैं,
is there inside us, and
और
we
सूक्ष्म तरीके से
like
हम
to
प्रयास करते
obtain
हैं
those things, or we want to become like those
हम उनको
people,
व्यक्त
whether
करें।
it may be subtle way or in a
तो
gross
ये जो
way,
कामना
or it may
है,
be manifest or unmanifest.
और कामना से
So then we get this
फिर
desire, and
राग द्वेष
that
इत्यादि
desire
आता है।
itself is what
तो
is
वो
called
उसी
raga
समय फिर
dvesh.
द्वेष आता है जब कोई उसमें
So
बाधा
then
अटकाता है,
if somebody places an obstacle in the fulfillment of our desire, then we
पूर्ति
start
के लिए, क्योंकि
becoming envious, we get dvesha.
कुछ ना कुछ इच्छा पूर्ति
For
करानी है,
fulfillment of desire, we
क्योंकि ये
perform
फल होता
action,
है,
and action leads to
ये
result.
फल होता है, और फल के लिए ही
Every
क्रिया
action
करनी
has a
पड़ती है।
result, and action is performed
तो
for
उस
getting
उसमें
result
अगर
only.
कोई अवरोध पैदा करता है,
So if somebody
तो फिर
places
क्रोध होता है।
obstacle in that action, then we become angry.
क्रोध कम रोधयति इति क्रोध, कम, कम माने कामना, इच्छा,
Kam rodhayati
सुख,
iti krodha. Kam is kamana or
जो
desire
क्रोध पैदा करता है, अवरोध पैदा
for
करता है, उससे
happiness.
क्रोध आता
If
है।
somebody
जैसे
places an obstacle
पानी
in
बह
the
रहा है,
fulfillment of that desire, that is
तो वो
krodha,
बिल्कुल
anger. Like when
तेजी
water
से
is
बहता है,
flowing, it is just flowing
अगर उसमें
quietly.
पानी, बहते हुए पानी में आप एक पत्थर डाल दें तो
In the midst of that, if you
तो
place a big
आवाज होगी।
stone, then there will be sound
तो ये
in the flowing of the
वो
water.
जो है, नदी हो चाहे नहर हो,
It
तो
maybe it is a river or a
आवाज होगी।
canal. It will produce sound.
तो इसी प्रकार से हमारे अंदर भी
Similarly,
एक धारा बहती रहती है,
there is a
कामना
flow
की
of
धारा
thought in
बहती
us,
रहती है,
flow
आसक्ति
of
की धारा
desires,
बहती रहती है,
flow of
एक
attachments.
प्रकार से। तो उसमें अगर कोई पत्थर डाल
If
दे
somebody
तो फिर
places an obstacle
तो फिर क्रोध
in
आता है।
that, then what comes is anger.
और क्रोध जब आ जाता है
And
तो
when we
उसमें एक
become angry,
प्रक्रिया चलती है।
then there is another
क्रोध क्या
process
करता है? क्रोध
that
एक
begins.
सम्मोह पैदा कर देता है। क्रोधात
Anger
मोह
gives rise
सम्मोह,
to delusion.
सम्मोह मोह धातु मोह वैचित्य, यानी कि आप अब वस्तुओं को वैसा नहीं देख पाते हैं जैसी
So
वे हैं,
now we do not see objects as
आपका चित्त
they
जो है
are.
वो विचित्र हो जाता है।
Our chitta becomes
अब वो वस्तुओं
distorted.
को इस तरह से पेश करता है जिस तरह से
Now
वो
it
नहीं है,
presents objects as they are not,
लेकिन आपको वैसी दिखने लगती हैं।
but it appears like that.
जब आपको क्रोध होता है तो
When we become
आपकी पत्नी,
angry,
आपका पति, आपके बच्चे
our wife or
जिस पर
husband
आप
or
प्यार और भक्ति
children,
रखते हैं, उस समय वही जब उन पर क्रोध
we
आता है तो
love
वो उस
them,
तरह से
but
नहीं
in an
दिखते,
angry
वेश
state,
भूषा नहीं
they
होता,
do not appear as object of
वेश
our
भूषा नहीं
love.
होते।
They appear as
और
objects
उस
of
समय जो
hatred.
आपको देखने में लगते थे वही चेहरा अब आपको
Those who
देखने
were
में दिखाई नहीं
appearing very
देते,
beautiful earlier, now they do not appear beautiful.
जिस चेहरे की आप प्रशंसा करते थे अब वो उसकी प्रशंसा नहीं
The
होती,
face that we were glorifying earlier,
अलग तरीके से दिखता है। ऐसा क्यों
now
होता
that
है?
face
क्रोध के
appears
कारण।
differently. Why does that happen?
क्रोध से
It
जब
happens due to
मोह
anger.
पैदा होता है तो मोह क्या करता है? मोह एक
That
प्रोजेक्शन
anger
करता है,
leads
डायरेक्ट
to
देखता है
delusion,
वस्तु को जैसी
moha.
वो नहीं है, तो वो
It projects a
सृष्टि
different
करता है, एक
image,
प्रकार से
or
सृजन
it
करता है।
creates a different image. delusion leads to creation. When Brahma started the creation, before that, first of all, he created five types of moha only, because creation happens by delusion only.
जो आगे वो कहते हैं कि सम्मोहात स्मृति भ्रंश, सो स्मृति विभ्रम। स्मृति जो है वो तो वस्तु जैसी है वैसी दिखाती है। जब आपकी मानो आपने कोई श्लोक याद किया,
So let's say you memorized a verse
स्मृति में लाते हैं तो जैसा है वैसे
and you bring it to memory, then memory will show that verse as it is, whatever you saw memorized earlier. So memory shows an object as it is, but what this delusion or sammohan does, it distorts the image.
भगवान कहते हैं कि सम्मोहात स्मृति विभ्रम।
So that's why Bhagavan is telling sammoha smriti vibhrama. This sammoha or delusion distorts the memory. Even though the object is in front of us, it does not appear like that, because when we see someone in front of us, that time also our memory is functioning. Let's say you are seeing a relative in front of you and you are recognizing that person, he is my father, brother, wife. That is due to memory only. If I place a person in front of you whom you have never seen earlier, even if that person is your relative, let's say far off relative, if he comes in front of you, will you be able to recognize him? No, because you have never seen him earlier. But if you might have seen him earlier and then again you see that person after 5 years, then you can recall that I had seen you earlier. So your recall, your memory is functioning. So what you have seen earlier and what you are seeing now, when they join together, they are called pratyabhigya. This is recognition that you are that person. So this identification is being done all the time. Whomever you are meeting daily, you are actually recognizing that person only. Like if some person gets dementia, then you cannot recognize the person. Nowadays, in old age, dementia is becoming very common. So such people, they can't even recognize their children. So the children ask that, are you able to recognize me? And the person replies, no. Why is he not able to recognize? Because that person has lost his memory. So everything functions on memory. So what does this sammoha or delusion do? It distorts the memory. And when memory is distorted, then discernment, intelligence is discrimination is lost. If you do not have memory only, if your memory is distorted, how will you understand what is right, what is wrong? If you are eating food and you know this is good for me and this is not beneficial for me, but if your memory gets distorted, then you will not be able to recognize that this is sweet, I should not eat this because I have diabetes. Because it is intelligence only that tells you that this is good, this is not good. It happens by intelligence only. But if memory is lost, then how will intelligence function? Everything works by memory. Currently, if your memory is lost, you will not be able to do anything, no matter how intelligent you may be, how great a scientist you may be, how big a businessman you may be. Currently, if your entire memory is deleted or lost, you will not be able to perform any activity. Your life will be a waste. That's why Bhagavan is telling the memory gets lost and intelligence functions on the basis of memory only. Intelligence has many functions. So one is recall or remembrance. So if memory is lost, the intelligence got destroyed. And now if intelligence is destroyed, if discrimination is lost, what will you do? Intelligence is the real strength. Bhagavan says in Gita that I am the intelligence of the intelligent. He says, I give you buddhi yoga.
बुद्धि से युक्त होकर ही तो कर्म बंधन से जाएंगे ना, कर्म बंधन प्रहास्यसी। तो जब
you'll cut your
वो नष्ट हो
bondage
जाएगा
of karma by your
तो
intelligence
विवेक भी
only.
नष्ट होगा।
So if your intelligence
जब
is
आपका
lost,
विवेक नहीं
your
रहेगा,
life becomes a waste.
जो कि आजकल के समाज में
In today's society,
विकास करने के लिए अनेक प्रकरण हैं,
there are so many
जिनके लिए
objects, instruments which can destroy our buddhi. All this drinking wine
मादक पदार्थों का
and
सेवन किया
consuming
जाता है।
various other intoxicants.
कोई आदमी शराब पी लेता है तो उसका विवेक विवेक नष्ट हो जाता नहीं होता।
What is the result? The result is they destroy our
अगर
power
वो
of
शराब पीने
discrimination.
में
The person
अधिकता से ज़्यादा
who
पीने लगता है तो
consumes
फिर उसका
wine
विवेक काम
more
करेगा नहीं।
than he
किसी
can
को अपशब्द नहीं
tolerate,
बोलना, उसको अपशब्द नहीं
then
बोलेगा,
he speaks
जो उसको
whatever
बढ़िया
comes
लगता
to
है
his
वैसा काम
mind.
कर देगा वो।
He does
तो वही
anything
असर होता
without
है।
thinking, without discriminating. So the
और
effect
आज
happens on buddhi only.
लोग इसको बहुत आनंद से पी रहे हैं,
Nowadays, people are
जिनके अंदर
consuming wine with lot of
शुद्धि नहीं
pleasure.
होती,
Bhagavan is
वो
telling
लोग
that when
इसका विनाश
intelligence
कर
is
देते हैं।
destroyed, you become destroyed.
तो
So
इसलिए
these
मैंने
people are self-destructive. They are destroying their own life.
जब
So
इनका
nowadays,
संतुलन
this is
बिगड़ता है,
considered progress or
कहीं
advancement.
भी चले जाओ कितना
Go anywhere,
शराब
you
बिकता
will
है,
see so much of wine is being sold
और लोग कोई
everywhere.
भी पार्टी हो, जन्मदिन हो, विवाह हो, उसके बगैर तो होता ही नहीं है।
Nowadays, any party, birthday party,
हमारे यहाँ
wine is must.
इसको जो है महापातक में गिना गया है।
In Shastra, this is considered as
पातकों की जो है
Mahapataka.
अलग अलग स्तर हैं,
There are 5 levels of fall
उपाधि
down:
हैं।
Mahapatak, Patak, and
तो
Upapatak.
5 जो महापातक हैं,
So, the 5 Mahapatakas, the major causes of fall down,
आप सोचेंगे
in
इसमें क्या
that
बुराई है,
one is drinking
इससे तो
wine.
आपका जीवन
You
नष्ट हो
may
जाएगा।
think, what is the loss? What is the
ब्राह्मण बनने
defect in
कह
this?
के अगर
So,
वो मद्यपान कर लिया तो
this is that
जीवन नष्ट हो
destroys
जाएगा।
our life. And if a Brahmana does this, his Brahmanatva is finished.
गैलन के गैलन पी जाएं।
Nowadays, there are Brahmanas, some Brahmanas also,
तो
they drink lot of
ये
wine.
भगवान यहाँ बता रहे हैं। तो यहाँ उनका उद्देश्य
So this
केवल
is what Bhagavan is
सुलभ
explaining
सुख दे
here.
रहे हैं,
So here the
भौतिक सुख
object
से
goal is spiritual, but if you want
स्पिरिचुअल
peace also, you
जो
have to
है
follow this. What we
उसी
are
से
searching
प्राप्त होगा।
for is to be obtained
ये
by
देखो
following
विषयान
this instruction by Bhagavan only.
तो भगवान कहते हैं विषयान
So
ध्यायत
Bhagavan
चित्तम
says
विषयेषु विसज्जते माम अनुस्मरत चित्तम मयि एव प्रविलीयते। वो कहते हैं अगर आप विषयों का ध्यान करोगे
that if
तो
you
विषयों में
dwell
ही
on
विसर्जित हो
sense
जाओगे
objects, then you will become immersed
और
in
मेरे में
sense
रहोगे
objects only.
तो मेरे में।
And if you dwell on
और यदि
me,
मैं
then you will be
ध्यान करने में
immersed in
पहले
me.
ही
You will obtain
युक्त
me.
आसीत मत पर,
So regarding focusing on him, he already told earlier, Yukta Asita
तो
Matpara.
हमारा
Here he is
कार्य
speaking
बिल्कुल
about
वही है
people who dwell on sense
कि
objects.
उसका हम किस प्रकार से
So we have the
उपयोग
same
करते
mind
हैं।
and intelligence, but the important
और
point is how do we utilize
उसको
our
यदि
mind and
ठीक ढंग से करें
intelligence?
तो वही
If
हमारा
we
विनाश
misuse
करेगा।
them, they will become instruments of our fall down.
और जब वो कामना हो जाती है तो हम
And when we get the
कामना और क्रोध को
desire,
रोक नहीं सकते हैं।
then we cannot stop that.
जब मन में कामना आ जाती है
When
तब
desire enters the mind,
उसको रोकना कठिन हो जाता है।
then it becomes
जैसे
very difficult to stop that.
बीज है,
Like there is seed,
तो जब तक वो अंकुरित नहीं हुआ है तो
until
आप
it has sprouted,
भून दीजिए, खत्म हो गया, वो
if
नष्ट हो
you
जाती है।
fry it, it is destroyed, it cannot do
जब हो गया
anything.
फिर बढ़
But
गया तो
once
फिर
it has
उसका नियंत्रण
sprouted, it is
करो।
growing, then it grows into tree,
वहां
it
पर
gives
जाकर उसका
fruits.
नियंत्रण करना
At
बहुत
that
मुश्किल
step,
हो
it
जाता
is
है।
very difficult to
तो
control its
यहाँ
growth.
जैसे जैसे
So here
ये
also,
स्तर इसका बढ़ता जाता है
the
ध्यान का,
way the
जैसे जब
process is
कामना
moving ahead
जब क्रोध पर
from
पहुंचेगा तब तो आपको
dhyana to attachment,
प्रभाव नहीं है
etc.
उससे,
Once it reaches the stage of anger, it is out of your
उससे
control.
पहले
Now you cannot do
आप
anything.
कामना तक भी
Before,
नियंत्रण कर सकते हैं।
till desire stage,
आप
you still have some
क्रोध कम हो
control,
जाता है
but
जब
actually,
आपका
although
आपकी मन
even that
को
stage is
कामना
quite
जो है वो
difficult,
बिल्कुल आ, पकड़ लेती है,
because desire
उसमें
captures
बलिष्ठ हो
our
जाती है।
mind and intelligence. Our mind and intelligence become
और इससे
immersed
पहले भी जो मैंने कहा
in
कि
in that.
सुंदर है असुंदर है, क्योंकि वास्तव में सुंदर और असुंदर कुछ है नहीं।
So because in reality there is nothing beautiful or
बात यही
ugly.
है कि सुंदर
This
और
is
असुंदर
quite
कुछ है नहीं।
interesting. There is nothing
कोई
beautiful
चीज
or
वास्तव में
ugly.
आपने देखा होगा जब दूर से देखते हैं तो सुंदर
If
लगती है,
you see something from far
और
distance,
उसी को थोड़ा
then it
पास से
appears
देखेंगे
beautiful.
तो उतनी
If you
सुंदर
go
नहीं लगती।
near, then it does not appear so beautiful. So we all have experience of
मुझे
this.
बहुत बढ़िया लगता है पास
From
में कोई
far
ढोल
distance,
बजा रहा
some music appears sounds very
है
melodious,
तो दूर के ढोल
but if
बजा
you
रहे
come
हैं
near, it doesn't sound so melodious.
किसी कोई बहुत सुंदर है
So generally things
तो
appear
थोड़ा
beautiful from far
मैग्नीफाइंग ग्लास
distance.
से देखें तो सुंदर
If
दिखाई
something
देगा
is beautiful and if you see that with a
आवाज
magnifying
बहुत बड़ी
glass,
दिखाई देगी फिर
will
बहुत
it appear so beautiful?
पूतना
If you
जैसी
see somebody's nose or teeth with
ऐसे
magnifying
ही
glass,
वो
they will appear to
जब
be nose or teeth of Putana. So why is
हमारी
that
आंखें
person not
ऐसी हैं
appearing so beautiful now?
और
Our
सुंदर
eyes are
दिखती
nothing
हैं
but lens. So if there is
जिसके
some
कारण
vikriti, some distortion in our eyes due to our raga and
अगर
dvesh,
वो सुंदर
then the
दिखे तो
same
सुंदर
beautiful
दिखेगा
object turns into ugly.
भगवान
If
कृष्ण सब
something
कुछ
is actually beautiful, then everybody should
सबको
see it
बहुत
as
सुंदर
beautiful.
दिखाई देता है
Bhagavan Sri Krishna appears beautiful to everyone,
हम
even to
वास्तविक
his
सौंदर्य
enemies, because he actually has beauty.
लेकिन हमारे यहाँ का जो सौंदर्य है ये
But
आपेक्षिक है
our beauty is
रिलेटिव
relative,
जिसको हम सुंदर कहते हैं उसको
not absolute like that of Bhagavan. What we
वास्तविक
say
व्यक्ति
as beautiful, everyone will not consider it as
हमें
beautiful.
भारत के लोग सुंदर नहीं
The
मानते
people who are beautiful in the eyes of Chinese may not be beautiful in the eyes of
भारत
Indians.
सुंदर नहीं
People
कहते
who may be beautiful in the eyes
पहला
of Indians may not be beautiful in the eyes of Africans.
पहला
People who are beautiful in
स्माइल
the eyes of
जिसको हम कहते
Africans
हैं
may not be beautiful in the eyes of Indians.
जिस
The
भारत
nose
में
we
स्माइल
consider
होती है वो
beautiful
भारत
may not be considered like
जहाँ
that
नहीं
by
होती है
them.
उसको वहाँ नहीं मानेंगे
Same with eyes. So this is all relative.
ये सब बदलता है
It keeps changing.
तो इसको हमें सोचना है कि जब चिंतन जो होता है और चिंतन होता है ज्ञान से जो ध्यान जो होता
So
है
we
ध्यान
should think about this.
इसलिए ज्ञान का
Dhyana
महत्व
happens
है
due by jnana.
ये जो कहा जाता है
That is why we should work on the level of jnana,
इसलिए कहा जाता है
on our standard of jnana.
भगवान ने कहा तदा गंतासि निर्वेदम श्रोतव्यस्य श्रुतस्य च क्योंकि सुनने से ज्ञान होता है
When we
देखने
hear,
से
we get
ज्ञान होता है
knowledge. By seeing also we
तो
get knowledge.
जितना हम उसको
So
नियंत्रित करके रखेंगे
the more we
अपने उद्देश्य के
regulate
अनुसार
it
कि हम वही चीज़
according to
देखें
our goal of life,
जो हमारे
that we
उद्देश्य से
want to see and hear only that which
तो
is matching
हमारा चित्त जो
with
होगा
our
वो
with the attainment of
शुद्ध
our
रहेगा
goal, that
एक
much
दृष्टि
our
रहेगा
consciousness, our chitta will
सब
remain
कुछ
pure.
मल
Otherwise,
घुस जाएगा
something some
विकार
or
जाएंगे फिर उनको
some
हमको
impurities will enter
कंट्रोल
that,
रखना पड़ेगा
and then you will have to control those,
इसलिए
regulate those
नियम बनाए
impurities.
जाते हैं
That's why
किस
the
तरह से
rules that are framed, that
जीवन जीना चाहिए
how
किसका
we should
संग
lead
करना
our
चाहिए
life, whom we should associate
संग का
with,
बहुत महत्व है
because association has lot of
काम जो है वो संग
importance.
की ही विपाक दशा है ना
This
संगात संजायते काम
this karma or
तो जैसा होगा संग वैसा होगा रंग
is due to our attachment,
हमारे जीवन का
is due to our sangha, association.
रंग है हम
So the color,
किस प्रकार से
so
बिताते
as
हैं वो हमारे संग
association
का फल
colors
है
our
यहाँ
life.
बैठे हुए हैं तो ये भी तो किसी संग का ही फल है ना
If you are sitting here,
तभी
it
हम
is
यहाँ
also
बैठे
due
हैं
to some association. Otherwise, you might be sitting
तो
in
इसलिए
somewhere
संग
else doing
बहुत
something else.
महत्वपूर्ण है
That's why
यस्य यस्य
association is extremely important.
अधिगत स्यात् स तद्गुणः श्री रूप गोस्वामी जी कहते हैं भक्त
That's
रसामृत
why
सिंधु में
Sri Rupa Goswami tells in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that like we have a crystal,
तो उसका अपना कुछ रंग नहीं है
it does not
उसके
have any
पास कोई
color
ऐसी चीज आप
of its own,
रखोगे
but whatever object
जैसे
you place near it,
लाल
the
रंग का
crystal
फूल
appears
होता
to
है
be of that color. If you place a red flower or green
तो उसको
flower near a
रिफ्लेक्ट करता
crystal,
है
then crystal
तो
reflects
हमारा
that
चित्त भी
color.
उसी प्रकार का
Similarly,
है
our chitta is also like that crystal.
कि जिस प्रकार का हम संग करते हैं
The kind of
वैसे
association
ही
we
हमारा
have,
ये अपना
the
स्वरूप लेगा
chitta absorbs that
क्या
color
होता है ना
of
रंग
that
जिस प्रकार
association.
के कपड़े में सफेद रंग का कपड़ा है तो उसको
So,
अगर हम
like let's say we have
किसी
white
लाल
color
रंग के
cloth.
पानी में डुबो दें
If you dip it
तो वो उस रंग को
in
पकड़
red
नहीं
color
पाएगा
water, then the cloth will absorb that color.
पानी जो है वो सफेद रंग को नहीं पकड़ेगा
The red water will not absorb the white color of the
लेकिन
cloth,
वो जो सफेद कपड़ा
but
है
the
वो
white
पकड़
cloth
लेगा
will absorb the red
इसी
color of the
प्रकार से
water. So chitta is
जैसे
also like this.
जैसे ही हैं तो दोनों एक दूसरे को प्रभावित करते हैं।
If both
एक
are
शक्तिशाली है
similar, then they influence each
वो
other.
प्रभावित ना
If
होकर
one is
दूसरे को
strong,
प्रभावित करता है।
then rather than getting influenced, it influences the
इसलिए
other one.
बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है
So
कि
that's why
हम
it is very important
संग को चुने,
that we select our
किसका संग
association.
करना है।
We decide what we or whom we should associate with.
उससे हमारे जीवन पर बहुत असर पड़ता है।
That will have lot of impact
इसलिए
on
कहते
our
हैं
life.
तस्मात्
That's
दुस्संगस्य
why it is said,
सुसज्जेत बुद्धिमान संत एव एतस्य छिद्यन्ति मनो व्यासंग वृत्ति भी उक्ति भी। तो दुस्संग को छोड़ के सत्संग करना चाहिए।
we should leave bad association,
और
harmful
अगर
association,
हम
and
सत्संग
get
नहीं करेंगे
satsang,
तो
association
दुस्संग होगा,
of the right
फिर
devotees.
काम होगा, फिर काम के लिए प्रयास
If
करेंगे,
we have bad
काम में
association,
कभी पूर्ति
then
नहीं होगी।
there will be karma,
न जातो
and
कामो
karma
कामनाम
can never be
भूयेन
satisfied.
सेम्यति हविषा कृष्ण वर्तमेव भूय एवाभिवर्धते। तो कामना कभी किसी की पूरी हुई नहीं है।
Nobody's desire,
यथा
nobody's
तथा
karma has ever been satisfied.
कथा है
Like what we see in the story of Yayati in Srimad
उसमें
Bhagavatam,
तक
it shows that only
मुक्ति नहीं
that
मिली।
he was trying to satisfy his desire. He was a great king, but he did that for 1,000 years.
कि इसकी
But then
पूर्ति नहीं
he
होगी,
arrived at the conclusion that this
क्योंकि
cannot be fully
वो एक के
satisfied,
बाद दूसरी इच्छा पैदा करती रहती है।
because one after the other
और
it
उसका
keeps giving
कारण ये है
rise to desires. And the reason is
कामना से हम सुख चाहते हैं,
that the karma
तो
by from which we
वस्तुतः
want
है नहीं,
sukha or happiness, those objects, they do not actually
नहीं है तो
contain
उससे
the
हमारी
sukha.
पूर्ति नहीं होती है।
So then if they do not have the happiness, we also do not get the happiness.
और
If you are hungry
आपको भोजन दिया जाए लेकिन
and
उसमें
food is served to
पोषक
you,
तत्व है नहीं,
but that food does not have any nutrition,
जैसे उसको क्या शुगर कॉटन जो होती है
like that
उसका
cotton
उपभोग
candy,
करते रहिए तो उससे
so
भी
you
पूर्ति
can
नहीं होगी।
keep consuming cotton
जिसे फल
candy,
बोलते हैं ना,
will that fill your stomach?
तो उनसे तो पेट भरेगा नहीं आपका।
So that will
तो
not
ये
fill the
वास्तव में
stomach.
ये जो विषय भोग है
So actually,
इसमें
all
कोई
these sense objects,
इसमें कुछ
they do
शांति नहीं
not
है।
give peace to
इसलिए कभी
anybody
आप भूल
because
जाते
they
हैं
do not have any happiness in them. For some time, we forget,
वास्तविक शांति नहीं मिलती।
but actually, we do not
और जो
get
सबसे
peace.
बड़ा कामना का विषय है वो
And the biggest
स्त्री पुरुष है,
subject
उसके लिए स्त्री स्त्री के लिए
vishay
पुरुष,
for kamana, for
तो
desire,
वो सबसे ज्यादा
is
प्रभावित करता है।
sexual attraction.
तो न न तथा भवेन
So
मोह
that also creates the biggest delusion,
भगवान
highest
कहते
level
हैं
of
यो
moha.
सत्संगात यथा पुंसो तथा तत्संगी संगतः। भगवान श्री कृष्ण कहते हैं इस बात को कि
Bhagavan Sri Krishna says
मनुष्य का मोह
that
जो यहाँ बता रहे हैं वो
the
विषय है।
person's moha
ध्याय तो विषयान पुंसः
or delusion,
तेषु उपजायते। तो वो मोह होता है लेकिन वो अलग अलग विषय से अलग अलग प्रकार का होता है,
so the
अलग
moha
अलग
delusion that happens, it's at different
या
levels
तो
by
मोह
different sense objects.
दूसरे के संग से
But
होता है, कहता है इससे ज्यादा
the
और कोई विषय नहीं।
sexual attraction, there is nothing so strong like that to create delusion. It has maximum power to delude the mind.
संगत है। मोह और बंध, मोह से ही बंध होता है फिर, क्योंकि आप
And
उसमें
this
आसक्त हो
delusion
जाते हैं,
creates
बंध
bondage
जाते हैं।
because you become attached to it and then you
और
become bound to it.
एक बहुत अच्छी बात वो कहते हैं
And
कि
he tells a very nice point,
यथा तत्संगी संगतः योषित संगात तथा पुंसो तथा तत्संगी संगतः। कि स्त्री का पुरुष से और पुरुष का स्त्री से
that
जैसा
woman
मोह
gets
होता है,
attracted to
स्वाभाविक
man
उसमें
and
होता
how
है।
man gets
लेकिन वो
attracted to
कहते हैं
woman,
या तो
that attraction is not by any other
ये
object, so much
इसके लिए दूसरे
to any
पुरुष
other
का संग
object,
करना जो स्त्री का संग करता है उससे भी मोह
but
होता है। वो तो
uh,
शुरुआत करेगा ना,
associating with a person with if a man associates with a man who is also
नहीं
lusty,
है
then
काम
also that also creates
तो उससे
delusion.
थोड़ी देर बाद विरक्ति आ जाए,
So if a man is associating with a woman
विरक्ति आ जाती
or woman associates with man, after some time there may be detachment or renunciation. But if you are associating with a person who is lusty and telling you the other person's stories with whom he is attached, then you will not become renounced. You will keep hearing that, because that person will not talk about the problems that he is facing in that relation. He will speak simply of the nice, he will simply speak nice stories. So you will keep enjoying hearing them. You won't become renounced. Like when you go for vacation, you take photos and you say smile before clicking the photo. Although the people may be fighting, husband wife may be fighting, but while getting the photo clicked, they smile. So when they show that photo to others, others get deluded, thinking that these people are very happy with each other. Although that may not be the truth, but by seeing the photo and the video clips, everybody thinks that these people are enjoying. They are so happy. So that's the point here, that when you associate with your friend who is associating with another woman or man, the opposite gender, so this person will simply tell you of the nice stories. He will not tell you about the problems he is facing in that relation. So then your delusion will continue associating with such a person. That's why it is being told here that how by association we had dhyana. Dhyana leads to attachment, desire, then anger. So that means wherever there is anger, there is karma. As I told earlier, you can control till the stage of karma, but when anger comes, you cannot control. Like see, Bhagavan Shiva, he is Mahayogi. He has propagated yoga also. So he was sitting in dhyana of Bhagavan, when Sati had immolated her body. So then Bhagavan Shiva was alone and he sat in dhyana. Now the devatas, they wanted a son from Bhagavan Shiva because the demons were attacking them. So if Bhagavan Shiva gives a son, Skanda, so that's why the devatas sent Kamadev to Bhagavan Shiva, because until he marries, how shall we get a son? And if he continues to sit in dhyana, he will not be interested in marriage, because he will simply be experiencing the happiness ananda in dhyana. So then they decided we have to disturb his mind, and then Kamadev came there with his entire army of apsaras and the nice season, cuckoos, nice wind. The whole atmosphere changed due to presence of Kamadev. So Bhagavan Shiva, who was sitting controlling Kama, and when he saw what is happening, he saw Kamadev. So he burnt Kamadev. But then he became angry. But he could not control the anger. So Bhagavan is telling here, Kamat Krodha Vijayate. When Krodha comes, when anger comes, then we become sammohit, deluded. So when he became angry, then he could not understand why should I burn this person, because it is actually the fault of Indra. Why am I punishing Kamadev? So this is sammohan, delusion. So then he lost his discrimination that time, and Kamadev, he got caught. He had to suffer. So that is why it can be stopped before karma only. Till karma is also possible. If a person is very much self-controlled, he can control at the stage of karma. But actually, only a person like Lord Shiva can do that. Ordinary person cannot control himself at the stage of karma. He has to make planning before getting the karma only. And what is the solution? The solution is you have to have correct association. If you have the wrong association, then your life is destroyed. And this is the fundamental cause of fall down of today's society. All the faults that we see in today's society, this is all fault of association. And association does not mean just hearing,
विभिन्न प्रकार
seeing,
की विचारधाराएं चलती
all
हैं,
different types of ideologies floating around.
एडवर्टाइजमेंट आती हैं, तो ये आपके अंदर कामना डालने के लिए।
All the advertisements we see nowadays,
तो ये जो विज्ञापन
so
करते
all
हैं
these
लोग,
advertisements floating around, circulated by people
कुछ
to
प्रोडक्ट
sell
वस्तु
their
बेचना चाहते हैं,
products,
तो तभी बेचेंगे जब आपके मन में
they
उसके
will be
प्रति कोई
sold
कामना पैदा होगी।
only when you will have the desire
कामना पैदा
within
करने के
you
लिए
to get
विज्ञापन
them.
बनाते हैं।
So in order to generate that desire, they
विज्ञापन
create
ऐसे
those
बनाते हैं
advertisements,
जिससे आप
and the advertisements are created in such a way
उस
that they attract you. So they will bring some beautiful girl,
अच्छे
nice music, nice
और
scenery,
फिर उसको एक बार नहीं, उसको बार बार
and
दिखाते
not
हैं,
just once, they will keep showing
और
that
उसके
again
पैसे
and
भी
again.
बढ़ाते हैं, तो वही
Like
विज्ञापन बार
when
बार
many times you go on the
कई जगह पे
street,
उसका वो
you
हो
see
रहा
the
है।
same
तो ऐसा
advertisements
क्यों
again
करते
and
हैं
again.
वो?
So why
इसलिए
do
कि
they repeatedly show the advertisements?
ध्यान का मतलब होता है एक चीज पर ही मन लगाना,
Dhyana means focusing mind on one thing only.
उसके बाद
So
में
you
दूसरी
say
चीजें
something
आती रहती
once,
हैं।
then again after some distance,
एक
again
बार
you
में
see that advertisement. If you are driving in a car,
जबरदस्ती ध्यान
again and again you see that same
तो आप
advertisement.
आंख बंद
So they are
करके
forcing you to dwell on that
ध्यान कीजिए
advertisement, to concentrate on that.
कि अगर विषय सामने
And
आ रहा है
our
उस पर आप
senses have a
फोकस नहीं
quality
कर सकते,
that if the sense
ध्यान
object
नहीं
is
दे
in
सकते।
front of the senses will definitely get
हम
the
सोचते ऐसे हैं कि
quality.
विषय हमारे अधीन है, लेकिन
We
जैसे
think
कहीं पे
that
कोई
sense
दुकान है,
objects are under our control, but actually the fact is like
वस्तु है,
if
तो
we
आपकी
are
नाक
smelling
ये नहीं कह
something,
सकती कि नहीं मैं ये खरीद
then
लेना नहीं
your
चाहता।
nose cannot tell that no, I do not want to smell this.
भोजन अपनी जीभ
If
पे
smell is
लगाते हैं तो
coming,
आपकी जीभ ये नहीं कह
if
सकती कि
you
नहीं ये
taste
स्वादिष्ट है।
something, then tongue cannot
आपकी नाक
decide
में कोई
and tell
वस्तु
that
है
no, I do
तो
not want to
आपकी
taste
जीभ
it.
में ये नहीं
If
देखती,
you see something in
आपकी
front of you,
आंखें
your eyes cannot say that no, I want to see
आंख
this.
बंद करके
You may have control and you may close your
आंखें
eyes
बंद करना,
and you
लेकिन
may
इंद्रिय जो है
shut your
उसका
nose,
काम
but
ऐसी
the senses do not have the
उससे
power
संपर्क
to
होता है
decide
और फिर
whether
ज्ञान आपको
I
प्राप्त
should
होता
get the give the knowledge of the
है।
sense
इसलिए
object or
विषय
no.
को कभी कहा जाता है कि इंद्रिय से बलवान है।
That's why sometimes it is said that the sense objects are more powerful than the
तो
senses.
ये विज्ञापन करने वाले इस बात को जानते हैं।
So the people who are advertising, they understand all this psychology.
आजकल तो कंप्यूटर पे भी
So
आप
it is television or whatever. Nowadays, even in computer, in YouTube,
कोई
you
प्रवचन
get
हो रहा है,
advertisements. Even if you are
ये
hearing some
बार बार आता
class,
रहता है, थोड़ी देर बाद फिर आ जाएगा।
then
अभी आपने
time and
सुना
again you keep
और
seeing
उसको
the
स्किप कर दिया,
advertisements.
कुछ नहीं कर सकते।
And nowadays, the
कई बार
system is
स्किप
that you cannot skip
करते
that.
हैं आप, अपने मन
Sometimes you
से
get the skip button. Now you have many
स्किप कर देते हैं।
advertisements where you do not have the skip button.
तो बार बार क्यों करवा रहे हैं? वो ध्यायत है, आपका ध्यान करवाना चाह रहे हैं कि इस पर ध्यान लगाओ, आप इसका चिंतन करो। तो
So
उसको
that's what
बार
they are
बार देखेंगे
telling
तो
that you should
जितनी
do
बार देखेंगे उतनी बार
dhyana
संस्कार
of
बनता
this.
है,
It is said if you do dhyana of this,
संस्कार
then
उसमें आ सकते हैं।
again and again you
उसके
get the
बहुत सारे प्रकार
samskaras.
के हैं कि उसका संगीत देखना जो अच्छा होता है,
The advertisements are created in such a way, having good music,
संस्कार
good
से बनता है
visuals,
काम।
and then by associating with those advertisements, you get the desire to purchase
कामना
those
चाहते हैं,
objects. And that's all they want.
कामना पैदा हो गई आपके मन में तो उनका काम सफल
Once
हो गया।
the karma has come in us,
तो आप
we have got the desire. Now the advertiser is successful. Now he knows that you will definitely purchase the object. Not only that, you will advertise about that
ध्यान
object to others
तो
also.
वो आपको ले जाते हैं।
So this is their
इसलिए
strategy.
ये काम जो है ये रजोगुण है,
That's why this karma, this is rajogun,
और उससे जो क्रोध आता है
and
उसको
the
तमोगुण
anger
बोलते
it
हैं।
leads to, that
इसलिए
anger
क्रोध
is
को
the
कामनुज
sun.
बोलते हैं।
That's why anger is also known
क्रोध का
as
भाई भी कहते हैं
Kamanuj.
उसे,
Anger is the younger brother
क्रोध
of
का पुत्र भी
Kama,
बोलते हैं।
or sometimes it is
जैसे
referred
वसुदेव
to
है,
as the son of Kama.
वसुदेव के लड़के प्रद्युम्न है,
Like there is
उनको
Vasudev,
भी कामदेव बोलते हैं।
Pradyumna. Pradyumna is also called Kamadev. The son is
प्रद्युम्न
Aniruddha.
जानते हैं ना आप?
You know what
प्रद्युम्न
is
का
the
मतलब
meaning of
होता है
Aniruddha?
प्रद्युम्न,
Pradyumna means demon, what shines,
अनिरुद्ध,
and
जिसको रोक नहीं दिया
Aniruddha
जा सके।
means that cannot be stopped.
तो मैंने बताया ना कि काम तो चमकदार है,
So that's what I said, that Kama shines, but Krodha, anger, cannot be controlled. That's why his name is Aniruddha.
लेकिन सबके ऊपर वासुदेव बैठे हुए हैं, इन्होंने कहा
but
युक्त
Vasudev
आसीत,
is sitting over everyone.
अगर आपको
So he says, Yukta
बचाना
Asita
है तो
Matpara.
वासुदेव
So if we have to protect from
कहता है,
Kama,
इसलिए
Krodh,
आपका नाम
we
स्मरण
should take
करते
shelter
हैं।
of Vasudev.
तो वासुदेव के जो भक्त हैं
For devotees of Vasudev, there is no inauspiciousness.
तो उनकी शरण में जाने से ही हम
So by taking shelter of Vasudev only,
मुक्ति प्राप्त कर सकते
shall
हैं,
we get
नहीं तो ये
mukti from all
इंद्रिय तो
these
हर जगह ही उपलब्ध हैं,
kama, krodha, etc. Otherwise, everywhere there are sense objects. Wherever you
मोह
go,
बनाते हैं, तो मोह
advertisers will make you
का
blind
बंधन है,
with their
इसलिए
advertisements of
अंग्रेजी
sense
में कहते हैं
objects.
लव इज ब्लाइंड,
Moha is also blindness. That's
क्योंकि
why in
वो
English it
दिखता
is said
क्या
love
है,
is blind,
वैचित्य बनाता है,
because it brings a strange
वो
type of
विचार को
distortion
ऐसा
in the
दिखाता है
chitta. It
कि इसको
shows
छोड़
an
के
object in such a way
जिसमें भी आप प्रीति करते हैं
that there is nothing like that.
असाधारण दिखता है,
That's why
जिसमें
anything that you love,
आप बात
it
करते
appears
हैं
very
दूसरों
extraordinary
की
to
तरह
you.
वो
You also speak
सामान्य
like this,
दूसरों की तरह नहीं है,
that this person is not
तो उसमें सामान्य में आपको
ordinary
असाधारण
like
दिखाई देता
others.
है, हाँ तो सामान्य ही
So,
ट्राई
in that
करते हैं
ordinary person or
तो
object,
आपको
we start seeing
असाधारण दिखाई देता है।
extraordinariness.
तो ये स्मृति विभ्रम इसी को बोलते हैं,
This is called Smriti Vibhrama, distortion of
बुद्धिनाशम
memory.
प्रणश्यति। तो हम अनेक चीजों को अपने नाश होने से बचाते हैं, अपने धन को नाश होने से
So,
बचाते
we
हैं, अपने
protect
घर को,
many things from destruction, like our wealth, our
सुरक्षा के लिए,
home, our
तो धन की
family.
सुरक्षा के लिए क्या करते हैं,
But what are we doing to protect our
जिससे हमारा
intelligence, our
सर्वनाश
sense
नहीं
of
हो जाए,
discrimination?
जिसके नाश होने से हम नष्ट हो
If
जाएंगे,
buddhi is destroyed, we will be
उसके लिए हम
destroyed.
कुछ नहीं करते
But
हैं,
we don't do anything for
और
protecting the
जो
buddhi.
दूसरी चीजें
And
हमारे तरफ
other
अधिकार,
things
धन,
all around
संपत्ति,
us, wealth, family,
उसी के
home,
लिए कितना
our
प्रयास करते
prestige,
हैं बचाने के लिए,
etc. We work so hard
उसी के
to
कारण हम
protect
क्रोध
all
आते
that.
हैं,
That also leads to anger.
कुछ
If somebody attacks your
लोगों पर
prestige,
दाग लगाए तो कितना
your
गुस्सा
sense
आता
of
है,
dignity,
क्रोध आता
then how much angry you
है।
become.
वास्तव में जो चीज
But
हमको
actually,
सताती है वो हमारी बुद्धि है,
the one thing that is worth
कि हम
protecting is
उसको
our
नहीं बचा
buddhi,
रहे हैं,
our intelligence, sense of
क्योंकि बुद्धि को अगर
discrimination.
नहीं बचाया
Because if we do
तो
not
हम
protect
नष्ट हो
that,
जाएंगे।
then we will be destroyed.
जिस चीज को आप प्राप्त करना चाहते हैं, जैसा
Because
हमने
what you want to
प्रारंभ
obtain,
में ही
like
व्याख्यान
I
माला में
told,
बताया था कि
I
हर एक
explained in the
व्यक्ति
beginning
आनंद की
only,
खोज में है,
that every person is searching
वो
for
बुद्धि
ananda,
वो नष्ट
for
हो जाएगी तो
happiness.
उसको आप प्राप्त
But
नहीं कर
when your
पाएंगे,
intelligence is
क्योंकि वो
destroyed,
आनंद
how will you
विषय
obtain
वस्तु से है,
ananda?
वो
Because that ananda
विषय
cannot be
वस्तुओं
obtained from
से
sense objects. It
भगवान
can be
कहते हैं
obtained only from Bhagavan.
तच्चित्त विषयेषु विसज्जते माम अनुस्मरतश्चित्त मयि एव प्रविलीयते। तो इसलिए उसका जो समाधान है वो भगवान का चिंतन, भगवान का नाम जप,
That's why the solution for all this problem is Kirtan of Bhagavan, Japa of Bhagavan,
इसी से
learning Shastra, Katha of
मन
Bhagavan.
बुद्धि जो है वो सुरक्षित रहेंगी,
This is what will
नहीं तो
protect
हमारे
our mind and our intelligence. Otherwise, our mind intelligence are getting attacked from all the
हमारी
sides.
इंद्रियों पर चारों तरफ से
Especially
आक्रमण
in
होता
today's
है,
society, it is getting attacked
इसलिए
from
इसको
everywhere.
सुरक्षित रखना बहुत
So
आवश्यक
it is
है।
very important
नहीं तो
to keep
एक बार
mind and
बुद्धि चली जाए
intelligence
फिर हमको
protected, because once
उसका कोई
intelligence is
नियंत्रण नहीं
lost,
है,
then we will not
तो
be able
बुद्धि
to
हाथ से
understand
निकल
what
जाती
to
है,
do or
हाथ
not
छूट
to do.
जाती है।
Then whole life just passes away like
इसलिए ये
that,
दो
and
श्लोक
we do not get
बहुत
anything.
महत्वपूर्ण है, भगवान बहुत सुंदर यहाँ पर विश्लेषण दे रहे हैं कि किस प्रकार व्यक्ति का पतन होता है और उससे हम कैसे बच
So
सकते
that's what
हैं।
Bhagavan is explaining here,
तो आज
what
अपना
leads to fall
सत्संग
down
समाप्त करते हैं,
and how to
नमस्ते।
protect us from that. We will stop here. If you have any question, you can ask.
ऐसा बोला जाता है कि मृत्यु के समय आदमी का मन बुद्धि काम नहीं करता है।
Question: it is said that at the time of death,
स्वप्न अवस्था में भी
nothing functions. So in the dream stage also,
स्मरण नहीं करते, अपने आप ही सब कुछ आता है। ठीक,
we do not consciously remember anything, but things just come to our memory.
अंतकाले च मामेव स्मरण मुक्ता कलेवरम
In Bhagavad Gita 8.5 and 6,
संयम वापि स्मरण भावं तत्ते कलेवरम। तो प्रश्न ये है कि जैसे मृत्यु के समय कुछ ये मन बुद्धि काम नहीं कर रही है तो
my question is, just like mind and intelligence are not functioning at the time of death, and Bhagavan is telling,
स्मरण आप जीवित अवस्था
once you do
में,
smaran,
श्लोक में कहा तद
so answer
सदा
is you should do smaran while living.
जिस पर हम ध्यान नहीं देते हैं, उस श्लोक में भगवान कहते हैं सदा तद भाव
We
भावित।
do not pay importance to this part of the verse. Bhagavan has told about sada tad bhava bhavita, means that
तब
always,
होगा आपके जीवित अवस्था में,
and that always will happen when you are living.
ऐसा रहेंगे जीवित अवस्था में, तो वो फिर मृत्यु पे
So whatever bhava thoughts you will have while living,
तो मृत्यु के समय
you will have that only at the time of death. If you are not doing smaran while living,
भूल कर
what will you get at the time of death? So you forget about what will happen at the time of death. Focus on what you are doing at that while you are living. Mrityu or death is like your examination.
लेक्चर सुनते हैं,
So you go to classes, you hear, you study, then you succeed in the exam.
कहूँ कि परीक्षा में उत्तीर्ण वही होता है जो वहाँ पर ठीक उत्तर देता है।
But if I tell you, only that person passes in exam who
कहेंगे अरे मेरे को
gives the correct answer to the question. So you say that I have to give correct answer in exam, but I become confused,
ठीक से अध्ययन करेंगे
I become anxious. But if you have actually studied regularly, properly,
तो परीक्षा में उत्तीर्ण हो जाएंगे।
then you will definitely succeed in the exam also. You will not have anxiety, you will not worry.
तो इसलिए सदा तद भाव भावित जो है ना, उस पर
So
ध्यान
that's
देना।
why you have to focus on sada tad bhava bhavita.
अगर आप
Yam yam vapi smaran bhavant left.
तो यम यम वापस स्मरण भावम भी नहीं होगा।
If you are not sada tad bhava bhavita, that yam yam vapi smaran bhavan will not happen.
कौनते हैं सदा तद भाव भावित, वो भाव जो है वो सदा वाला भाव ही वहां पर आएगा।
The bhav that we have on a regular basis while living, that only will come at the time of death.
कोई भी विधि होती है, शास्त्र
Because
विधि नहीं देता है जो
Shastra never prescribes you something which is beyond your capability to practice.
मृत्यु के
So you said that at the time of death,
काम नहीं करती है,
mind intelligence do not function.
आपको कोई विधि नहीं लगती।
That's why there is no vidhi given at the time of prescribed during the time of death. Vidhis are given when we are living, not when we are dying.
बुद्धिमान व्यक्ति आपको ऐसा काम करने के लिए नहीं देगा जो वो जानता है कि ये नहीं
Any
कर सकता।
intelligent person will not tell you to do anything that you cannot do.
के नीचे भी कोई व्यक्ति काम करता है तो
If somebody is functioning under you, you will give him a job which the person is capable of performing. If you are asking him to tell something that he cannot do, and you are giving that kind of work, then you are a fool, because you know that person cannot do that. So Bhagavan is not telling that focus on me at the time of death. He is telling focus on me while you are living. Then at the time of death, that focus will happen automatically. That's what he is trying to tell. Next question.
सुदुराचारो भजते माम अनन्य भाग साधुर्य समन्तव्य। आगे वाले श्लोक में क्या आया था?
सम्यक व्यवस्थितो हि
नेक्स्ट
क्षिप्रम भवति धर्मात्मा।
क्षिप्रम भवति धर्मात्मा। यस। तो अनन्य भाव तो हम लोग जो अपने जीवन में देखते हैं कि बहुत सारे विषय वगैरह भटकते रहते हैं हर
The
समय।
question we see in our life, we get deviated by so many things. So what does Bhagavan mean by the verse Ananya Bhak in Kshipram Dhoti Dharmatma verse?
जो सेवन करता है, भजन करता है, वो भाग है। अन्य भाग जो अन्य वस्तुओं का भी
So Bhak is one who is doing bhajan.
भजन करता है।
Anya Bhak is one who is doing bhajan of Bhagavan and other sense objects also.
विषयों का भी भजन करता है।
He is doing bhajan of the sense objects also. That is Anya Bhak. And Ananya Bhak means one whose determination is clear that I do not want the Vishayas.
के कारण ऐसा होता है, उसकी रुचि
So that apichet suduracharo happens due to his past habits. He does not have liking, means he does not, he is not, he has not determined, it is not his resolve to enjoy sense objects, but he doesn't have control over his senses. So Bhagavan is telling that very quickly he will come out of that, because has done the correct resolve to worship me only.
निश्चय धैर्य तो आवश्यक है। तो निश्चय तो तभी होगा जब आपको बात ठीक से
But that determination will happen only when you have understood Shastra properly. Otherwise, you have doubts, and as long as you have doubts, you cannot have the right determination.
प्रश्न है, प्रणाम
Next
महाराज जी,
question.
जैसे मूर्तियों में प्राण
Just
प्रतिष्ठा हो
like
सकती है,
Murti in Pran
तो क्या
Pratishtha
होता
can
है
be
कि
done
हम
in
कोई मूर्ति
Murtis,
बनाकर उसको
can Pran
जीवित रूप से
Pratishtha
जिंदा कर
be
सकते
done
हैं?
in a dead person and make him alive again? Answer: no, that is not possible.
मेरे को इससे वास्तव में मुक्ति प्राप्त करनी है। और दूसरा, उसके बाद में फिर आप अपनी एक दिनचर्या बनाइए।
So one is that you resolve, I actually want to be free from all this addiction, and then you make a proper lifestyle,
योजनाबद्ध तरीके से काम कीजिए कि मैं
and then
इसको
work with a proper plan how, according to my capability, slowly I will reduce the addiction. So let's say somebody is smoking 15 or 20 cigarettes, and in 1 week he decides I will bring it to 19, because many times what happens, people want to stop all this suddenly, but that does not happen. It can happen in rare cases with people who have very high level of determination, but generally that doesn't happen. That is because our body, our whole system of mind, intelligence, it becomes addicted. This becomes a food. This addiction becomes a food for them. Just like a person becomes hungry at certain time, the senses also become hungry for those intoxicants. The body starts demanding them. So stopping all of them suddenly is not possible, and that may be actually again harmful also. So it is advisable to get rid of the addiction slowly, step by step, and always remain focused on the determination that I want to get rid of it. Nowadays there are institutions like Alcoholics Anonymous which help people to get rid of these addictions. So one can take help from such institutions
दूसरा प्रश्न
also.
है कि हम किस प्रकार
Next
से एक
question.
दूसरे को, क्या यह हमारी सहानुभूति या दृष्टिकोण धारणा के कारण है,
Question:
या फिर ये
how
हमारे
do
दुश्मनों को
we
पहचाने
affect
जाने
each
या
other?
पसंद किए जाने के
Is this
कारण
due to dharana or because we like each other? Yeah, this is answer. This is due to liking. If you are talking to somebody, you like that person, then you like his talks also. As I said, by liking, you get a wave in you.
सत्संग से भी तो ऐसा ही होता है ना, आप साधु का
In
संग
satsang also that happens.
सत्संग करने का मतलब उससे श्रवण
You like you hear the satsang means hearing from the sadhu.
तो आपके अंदर
If you like them, then they create good samskaras in you.
आजकल तो
They
जो आदमी
impact your chitta.
कहता है
And nowadays modern psychology also says that we have such neurons in us which are called monkey
तो
neurons.
कहते हैं कि आप जिसके
They
पास
say
में
that
रहते हैं तो उससे वो
whichever person you associate with, those neurons get impacted by that. They have researched like this.
यानी कि आप ना भी बात करें, किसी के साथ में बैठें
If
तो भी
you,
उसका प्रभाव
even if you do not talk to somebody, if you just sit near to somebody,
उसको लोग
that association affects you.
एनर्जी है या
Like people say nowadays, there is a positive energy, negative energy.
वहाँ
Energy means those
बात करते
waves are there, what I was talking
हैं
of.
स्थान होते हैं वहाँ की अपनी
Like that,
शक्ति रहती
those pilgrimages, they also have their energy. If you visit those
है। ऐसे
places,
व्यक्ति की
you get
एनर्जी होती है कि
impacted.
उसके चारों तरफ
Like
उसका
this
ऑरा
person
रहता है,
also has an aura around him.
कोई
He
भी
has that
प्रभाव
energy that impacts you, it affects you.
मेरा एक प्रश्न है गुरुदेव, आपने बताया कि
Next
आपने
question.
बुद्धि और स्मृति के बारे में बताया,
You told
क्या
about
दोनों में कुछ अंतर है?
intelligence and memory. Is there any difference between intelligence and memory?
स्मृति तो
What is the
स्मृति का
difference?
मतलब होता है
Answer:
किसी संस्कार का उद्बुद्ध हो जाना।
Memory means any samskara becomes activated again. Like
भोजन किया
yesterday
तो उसका संस्कार
you
पड़ गया,
ate some
तो मैं
food.
कहूँ कि तुमने
Now that
भोजन
some
किया,
you had to have that samskara.
तो
So
वो
if I ask you
याद में आ जाए उसको स्मृति बोलते हैं।
and you
संस्कार
can
तो दिमाग में
recall
पड़े हुए
and
हैं,
tell that,
और अगर
that is smriti,
संस्कार
that
नहीं
is
पड़े
memory.
तो कहेंगे कि मेरे को याद नहीं आ
If
रहा।
those samskaras do not get activated of what you ate yesterday,
तो वो जो
then you will tell
स्मृति
that I do not remember.
स्मरण करते हैं वो बुद्धि की सहायता से
So whatever we recall it by the help of intelligence. Buddhi.
यंत्र है,
Buddhi is a different
स्मरण जो है वो
machine,
संस्कार है।
and smaran or recall or memory, it is a samskara. They function,
संस्कार चित्त में
they are
रहना,
interconnected, they function together.
से संस्कार को खींच के लाना,
Samskaras are in the chitta,
कंप्यूटर पर
and the smaran brings those samskaras from the
डिक्शनरी जो
chitta,
है वो कंप्यूटर की हार्ड
activates
डिस्क
that.
पे स्टोर्ड है,
Like we have a dictionary in the
उसे जब
computer,
ढूंढना है
in the hard disk,
तो
and
टाइप
if you have to search a word and you type
करेगा
that,
तो उसमें ढूंढेगा, फिर
and if you search it, and the dictionary will search it and bring it on the screen. So bringing on the screen means it is taking it out
ऐसे संस्कार है,
from the hard disk and showing you.
स्मृति है,
So it is,
उसका उपयोग प्रयोग करने वाला प्रोसेसर है, वो बुद्धि है।
so processor is doing all this. That processor is the buddhi.
बाबा जी आपने बोला कि निश्चित साधक
Next question.
बिना रुचि
You said that
भोग कर लेता है,
a sadhak
क्या उस भोग
who is determined,
से
even if he
संस्कार
doesn't have ruchi, he enjoys some sense object.
किसी चीज का भी भोग
So will that lead to samskara? So samskara gets created only when you enjoy a sense object with attachment.
लेकिन उसमें कुछ ज्यादा शक्ति नहीं रहती।
So without that also some samskara will be created, but that samskara will not be strong. Like you see something in the dream, but you forget that. Some dreams you remember, but after some time you forget, because during the dream you do not have any raga dvesh.
हाँ, थोड़ा सा इससे संबंधित है, जैसे अभी बात हुई कि अगर हम अभी अपनी वर्तमान स्थिति, मैं अपनी वर्तमान स्थिति देख रहा हूँ कि
Next question, if I analyze my present situation, dream is not in my control. So whatever I am dreaming, it is not related to bhakti, it is all related to all kinds of nonsense only. So I was reflecting that this is my situation. So if I, when I give up my body,
वही बाहर निकल के आएगा,
I will face this only.
कहीं से थोड़े
So answer, yes, whatever is inside, that only will appear outside. That's why earlier the sadhus, the yogis,
पहाड़ों में पर्वत
that's why they went to the forests, the mountains, the caves. Why did they live in those places?
अपना जो संपर्क है उसको कम करते थे,
Because they wanted to reduce their connection to all the nonsense outside.
व्यवहार किस तरह से उसको निकालना,
And whatever is already inside, that how to get rid of that nonsense.
और अंदर वाला जो
So we have to do two things. We have to protect ourselves from the bad samskaras coming from outside and get rid of those bad samskaras which are already there inside. This is the purpose of sadhana.
तो दुस्संग मुत्सृज्य, दुस्संग को छोड़ के सत्सु
That's what
संगे
Shastra says, that we should give up bad association and get the right association. Doing this is buddhi.
प्रश्न है, जब संसार दुखालयम है तो
Question,
फिर क्यों कहा
if
जाता
the
है
world
कि
is an abode of misery, why is it said that we should be happy, and is it actually possible to be happy?
वालों को सुन लीजिए, संसार तो दुख
Answer,
लेकिन आप क्या हैं?
world is an abode of misery, but what are you?
आप संसार तो नहीं है,
You are not this world.
आप हैं और संसार संसार है।
You are you. The world is the world.
दुखालय को आप अपने अंदर क्यों घुसाना
So why do you want to take the misery of this world inside you?
दूसरा क्या है?
Next question.
दूसरा प्रश्न है कि जब संसार दुखालय है
When the world is an abode of misery, then an intelligent person, should he not marry and beget children?
दुखालय में जन्म लेगी,
Because his children will also be born in this abode of misery. Answer, yes, this world is a dukhalaya,
वो जो मैंने
is
कहा
abode of misery, but what I told earlier, what you are, first you analyze that.
तो दुखालय नहीं है ना,
You are not dukhalaya, you are not abode of misery.
शादी करेंगे वो भी दुखालय
And
है,
whomever
तो लेकिन दुखालय
you marry, that person is actually not an abode of misery, but somehow after marriage, when you become attached to each other, then misery increases.
आ सकती है, जैसे
So the problem is attachment. As Bhagavan told,
तो मूल कारण जो है वो संसार नहीं है,
the fundamental problem is not this world, it is attachment.
मूल ही संसार है। आसक्ति खत्म
Attachment is the root of the world. If attachment goes away, then this world is not this world for you, because you are now liberated. You are not Dukhalaya, the world is Dukhalaya.
तो आप ही थोड़े हैं।
You are Atma.
ममई वंशो जीव लोके जीव भूत सनातन, भगवान के अंश हैं।
You are an Angsha of Bhagavan.
गुस्तावो जी का प्रश्न है कि
Next question.
कभी-कभी हमें
Sometimes desires come automatically and a person is driven to action automatically even over their will. How can someone overcome these addictions?
तो इच्छाएं तो आती हैं क्योंकि
Answer: yes, desires come. As I explained,
पड़े हुए हैं तो उनका
we have lot of samskaras. Because of that, we have these desires. So we have to remain awake, aware about those desires. When we get some desire, if we are
जागृत है,
aware, if our intelligence is awake,
अपने विवेक से काम
then we will work with a sense of discrimination that should I function according to this desire or no?
के प्रति ले
Is this will the fulfillment of this desire help me in achieving my goal, or it will deviate me from my goal? So this is the function of intelligence, buddhi. That's why Bhagavan says
ही आपको
that
बंधन से छुड़ाएगी।
it is buddhi that will liberate you from this bondage. You have to utilize your buddhi.
लेकिन बुद्धि का उपयोग तभी रहेगा जब बुद्धि
But using buddhi is only possible when buddhi is awake. If buddhi is sleeping
अनुसार काम करते रहे।
and mind has overpowered the intelligence, then we function according to the dictates of the mind.
अक्षय जी का प्रश्न है
Next question.
काम में लिप्त होने से भी कभी भी काम असंतुष्ट ही रहता है तो
Since karma is never going to be satisfied by indulging in it, what exactly is Jiva looking for in the sex life? Answer: what is he looking for? He's just looking for pleasure. What is new in this?
जो आप कह रहे हैं
Who doesn't understand this?
तो भगवान बता रहे हैं, शास्त्र बता रहे हैं यहाँ पर, लेकिन इस बात को लोग जानते नहीं हैं, और जानते हैं तो उस पर अमल नहीं करना चाहते हैं।
People don't understand what Bhagavan is explaining here, and even if they know, they do not want to follow that
अनुभव है,
because they have experience of enjoying sense objects, do not have experience of adhyatma or spiritual life. So they have knowledge of sense objects, experiential knowledge is there of sense objects, but in spirituality
theoretical knowledge,
they have only theoretical knowledge, not experiential knowledge. So that's why this experiential knowledge of sense objects often overpowers them. That's why we have to do repeatedly associate
प्रश्न है कृपया
with the right devotees.
समझाइए जैसे गणित जब
Next question.
नहीं आ जाती
Kindly explain the signs of chanting holy name. Just like Ganit, by chanting, repeating the word Ganit, we do not get, by repeating the name mathematics, we do not get knowledge of mathematics. Then how will it happen by chanting Bhagwan's name? Answer: you already know the science. That's why you asked. Why do we chant the name of Bhagwan? Because the name of Bhagwan has Shakti. The name Ganit or mathematics doesn't have energy, doesn't have Shakti. In case of Bhagavan, the science is Abhinnatvad Nama Namino. The name of Bhagavan is non-different from Bhagavan. This is the science. All the energies which are there in Bhagavan, those energies are in Nama also. Actually, by chanting one name only, everything should work out, but it doesn't happen. Why? Because we have various coverings, and the biggest obstacle in getting the result of chanting or nama manifesting its full potency is our offenses. That's why we chant nama, so that those coverings go away, and slowly the offenses go away. And then when we continue chanting Harinam, then slowly Harinam will manifest its full potency. Next question. In anger, our chitta presents things distorted. How does this distortion happen? Is this by the power of Rajogun? Answer, yes. It is due to Rajogun. This is the effect of Rajogun. Rajogun functions like this. It presents a different image of everything. From Sattvagun, we get knowledge. Jnana. Jnana here means showing things as it is. That is correct knowledge. And showing something in a different, with a different image, in a different way, that is aprama, that is wrong knowledge. That happens due to rajas. So rajas brings distortion and tamas brings covering. By tamas, we don't even understand what that object is. By rajas, we get wrong knowledge of that object. And by sattva, we get the right knowledge of the object. Next question. I have heard about 5 great sins. Can you please tell what are those 5 mahapap or great sins?
एक तो स्वर्ण की चोरी, मद्यपान.
One is stealing gold. One is drinking wine.
ब्राह्मण हत्या.
One is Brahma Hatya.
So it's Brahmahatya, Surapana,
सुरापान.
and then Suvarnastheya,
3 ही तय हो गए.
and then adultery with the wife of the guru.
या गुरु.
Yes, having relations with teacher's wife, then stealing gold, drinking alcohol, killing Brahmin,
तो यही 5 हैं.
incest with mother.
प्रश्न है
Next
खुजराहो
question.
मंदिर में कामुक आकृतियां क्यों हैं?
Why they are lustful objects in the Khajuraho temple? They are showing basically that Bhagavan is inside and these all lusty sense objects are outside. So you have to cross through them. Then you get Bhagavan. You have to surpass the Kam. Then you get Ram.
जहाँ काम वहाँ राम नहीं.
Where there is Kam, there is no Ram. And where there is Rama, there is no Kam. Tulsidas says this. Like that, there is some doha by Sri Tulsidas ji, that just like fire and water cannot live together, Kam and Rama cannot be together.
प्रश्न है कि
Next question.
स्थिर बुद्धि व्यक्ति की विशेषताएं यहाँ पर भी बताई गई.
Here the characteristics of Sthir Buddhi person seems somewhat similar to what is explained in 12th chapter. What is the difference? Is that the former is for Jnani and what is told in 2nd chapter is for Bhakta? Answer. Here the whole narration is about Sthita Pragya Karma Yogi and there it is about Bhakti. So stable intelligence is required for anybody, whatever, be it Jnana Yogi, Karma Yogi, or you are doing Bhakti Yoga. Everyone must have stable intelligence. Without that, any yoga is not possible. Next question. In the last class, you explained that people leave their material lives behind and join an ashram, but in the ashram, their spiritual life gets average again. They actually live the same life as they were living at home, and the power of their spiritual life is also down again. So just a correction by Babaji that this does not happen with everyone. So continuation of question. My question is, does this happen because the mind gets influenced by tamas, or it happens because the person is not rightly situated in life? Like he gives up the life prematurely. What is to be done?
इसका कारण मैंने बताया था लेकिन आपने सुना नहीं.
So answer, I had explained the reason but you did not listen properly. The reason is everyone does not come to the spiritual path for spiritual progress. They come to spiritual path because they have material problems. They have problems in family relations or some bodily problems, mental problems, and they come for getting solutions to those problems. Then their problems get solved in the ashram and then they lead the same average life. they fundamentally they have not come for spiritual life actually.
उनका एक प्रश्न ये भी
That
है
is
कि
the
क्या
reason.
करना चाहिए
Another question, what should be done in such a situation? Change the external situation again, go back home or stay in ashram? So answer I already answered. You can go wherever you like. I am focusing on the reason.
यहाँ पे आप घर क्यों जाना चाहते हैं, आध्यात्मिक में क्यों नहीं रहना चाहते हैं?
If you have already come on the path of spirituality, why not listen and understand it properly and then apply it in your life? What is the reason for going back again?
चलो प्रार्थना श्लोक। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनंदनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्र गीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मंत्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः यच्छ्रेयः स्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम् यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर् ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांघ्रये भवे भवे यथा भक्तिः पादयोस्तव जायते तथा कुरुष्व देवेश नाथस्त्वं नो यतः प्रभो नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपाप प्रणाशनम् प्रणामो दुःखशमनस्तं नमामि हरिं परम् हरि ओम तत्सत्।